welcome back to Lauren's Take. Okay, so, I'm proud of myself because this is probably the most consistent I have been with uploads in I don't know how long, so let's hope it lasts, everybody. I will say I am on a break right now from school. I just finished day term and going into spring semester next week, so that's probably why I actually have the free time, or maybe I'm just forcing myself to make time. This year I've been trying to be very deliberate with my time, so that's probably why. But anyway, you're not here for that. You're here for this lovely video. So this is going to be my first wrapped up video I have done in a long time. I believe the last time I did one was probably back in 2021. So, and still I didn't do a lot then. So, we're just going to go right into it, but I'm really excited to do this. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and let's get into it. All right, so I will say most of these books, there's only one book that I actually read, or how many out of these that I read for the first time? 3, technically. 3 out of the 9 I will be talking about. So the first one I actually read on my Kindle, and that was The Dragon's Promise, which was the sequel to Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. It took me a while to read that one. I started it back in September, but I think again, school got in the way for me finishing it, but I also was kind of bored about it. You can read my lovely long summary on Goodreads. I'll link it in the description below. I didn't like it that much. It could have been better. I mean, it ended okay. I really didn't like the ending. I thought it was kind of dumb, in my opinion. And I usually am not that harsh to books, but I think I gave it like 4 stars. Yeah, I think I was being generous. I gave it 4 stars, but yeah, so that was the first book that I read. The second book that I read was Chamber of Secrets. So I think I mentioned it slightly last year. I don't know, because I only made like 3 videos last year, 3 or 4. And I said I was rereading Harry Potter. And so I started this last year, didn't finish it till this year in January. And I just forced myself to finish it. I don't know. I think it's probably because I'm just not feeling J.K. Rowling, as I shouldn't. And that's probably why it took me forever to read it, but it was still good, I guess, good reread. Yeah. Next, I skimmed through the rest of this book. I also started this last year. This was one of the reads that was new, like Dragon's Promise was new. This was a new read. It took me forever to read this book because it just got really, really, really boring. And I think I've read Twilight enough, I've seen the movies too much, that like reading this was just like, okay, I pretty much figured it out. And I literally, for the last 150 pages, because it just was drowning on, I literally just skimmed and I'm like, yay, I'm done. This was definitely a 3 stars for me. It was good at first, but then it just, God, it was painful. So yeah, that's what this one is getting. Next book I read was Sarah Boateng's Guide to Vampire Hunting. So this was a new read. This came out back in September of 2022. I was really excited to read this because it's by Roseanne A. Brown, who, wrote the A Song of Wraiths and Ruin and a Psalm of Storms and Silence series. I really enjoyed her books then, so I was like, I really want to check this out, and it's a part of the Rick Riordan Presents connection, and you guys know that I've been obsessed with Percy Jackson again, reliving through all my favorite moments and whatnot. And so I decided to give this a read. I really, really, really enjoyed it. The ending, but we get a sequel again in September this year, so I'm really excited to read that. But yeah, this was a good read. Next, in preparation for Chain of Thorns, of course, I reread Chain of Gold, and I went through and actually tagged a lot of important little scenes for me. This was the first time I actually did this for a book that I read for pleasure. And I was so glad that I did that, because now whenever I reread it again, because I probably will when I reread all of the Shadowhunters books up there, I probably will go through and like tab different things, but I don't know. This book was so good. I remembered I loved it the first time, but the second time was just as good. So, and maybe even better. So yeah, I was really excited to reread this. The next book will probably not come as a shock, as I just said I read this one, but I read Chain of Iron again as well, and I also tabbed this one, a lot of little tabs, a lot of cute moments. I really enjoyed reading this one again, because I remember loving Chain of Iron tremendously, and I think Chain of Iron was just, it was perfection, you all, just absolute perfection, no complaints there. Alright, I mixed up books for a second. So, next, I finished the Heroes of Olympus series with Blood of Olympus. I had taken a break after reading House of Hades because House of Hades was just really depressing. I remember reading Heroes of Olympus the first time completely out of order. So I had started with House of Hades, then I moved to Blood of Olympus, then I think I moved to Mark of Athena, and then I moved to Last Hero, then I moved to Sun and Night. So it was all out of order. But this time around, I read it all the way through completely the right way. And I finished with Blood of Olympus, finished this in just a couple days. It was so good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. All right, so, you know, continuing on this Percy Jackson vibe, you know, I decided to go into Trials of Apollo because I had started that series but never had finished it, and so I decided to start it again, and I decided to reread Hidden Oracle because, yes, and I went back and tapped some important things. I didn't tap as much as I thought I would, but I don't know. I think it's just because this is just like the beginning stages and whatnot. I don't know what I was tagging, but yeah. So I reread this, and then I'm just going to combine. Then I reread the first few first 100 or so pages that I had read before, and then finished the book with Dark Prophecy, which was the last book that I finished in January. The only reason I'm not including Chain of Thorns is because I technically finished it in February. So that will be in my February wrapped up video. Hold me to it, y'all. Please hold me to it. But yeah, those are all the books that I read during the month of January. So that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, you know, leave down in the comments below if this year is going to be a reread year for you. I think I'm finna read a lot of these again. I don't know why, but I think it's just, you know, when I had read these for the first time, I was like in middle school. I am now a junior in college. So a lot of these books, though I remember like key moments, I don't remember a lot of what got to those key moments or stuff. And so it's been really fun rereading. And as my friend told me, she was like, "There's no point buying a book if you're not going to reread it." And I was like, you know what? You're right about that. So I think I've also been thinking about that. I don't like wasting money. So, you know, my parents spent a lot of good money on these books. So I want to reread them, you know, go through the emotions again, go through the pain again. But anyway, let's get to the point. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a big thumbs up. Don't give it a thumbs down. That's just rude. Also subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I shall see you in the next one. Okay, see you later. Bye.